Hello again, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host of the month, and my name is Rhoda Elmi, coming to you live from Saskatchewan, Canada. If you're new to the call or don't know who Ramin Musgarlo is, our CEO and founder, I would like to give you a little bit intro about him. So Ramin Musgarlo is the founder, as I said, and the CEO of Opulence Global, and the visionary behind the Opulence philosophy, the architect of general direction of the company, and this includes the development of the compensation plan, basic to advanced training and business expansion systems, building high-level strategic partner, and overall marketing targets. Ramin spent 27 years. Ramin is here, I think. He just setting himself up. So maybe I'll just wait for him a little bit. Or should I just... Hello, Ramin.
Hi, I've been waiting. I've been here for a while, but just wanted you to say hello to everyone.
Yeah.
Anytime you're ready, we're ready to go.
Evening. Okay, I was like, Ramin is setting up himself, so I'll just go and do his intro, then he can join us and he can start the call. Okay, so I'll continue, and thank you for, yes. Okay, so Ramin Musgarlo, I will start over, is our CEO and founder of Opulence Global and the visionary behind Opulence philosophy, the architect of the general direction of the company. And this includes the compensation plan, basic and advanced training, business expansion systems, and building high level strategic partner and overall marketing targets. So one thing I love about the compensation plan, our comp plan, I always say, I feel I never said this enough. It's second to none. I always say that, but I never said it enough. So you have to know, if Opulence Global is your first MLM company, you have to know our comp plan is second to none. And the right investment. So that's one thing I love about our company, because I was with another MLM company. So always thank our CEO and founder Ramin for that. Ramin spent 27 years in direct sales and built $4 multi-million business as a master distributor. And it was in 2005 when he launched Global Wealth Trade and his own unique high performance entree into the world of direct sales. And he was truly able to help more people more directly. And many of you know the story of Ramin starting from his own basement and building this company that we call family today, Opulence Global. After 12 years of successful growth in 200 countries, Ramin has now rebranded Global Wealth Trade to Opulence Global in order to highlight the company's product, compensation plan, and culture. Opulence Global was birthed out as a need, out of a need to give the average entrepreneur the ability to achieve the opulent lifestyle through optimum health, beauty, and fashion. It was also created to positively impact the global health in a way never done before. The company is doing its part. Our company is doing its part in combating the diseases caused by free radicals and unhealthy microbes by offering a strategic, targeted, and high-performance antioxidant in Opulence product line. And we all know what that product is. It's none other than our FOL, which is going to be #1 antioxidant on the planet. We all know that. Our customers all know that. So it's the #1 product that's on the planet now. I don't think there's another product that's going to be in development for many, many years to come. Ramin saw a need to bolster a success of the average entrepreneur, and this is his own quote. I'm quoting him. He said, "I have seen the entrepreneurial spirit is high in most people and in all continents, but there are not a lot of great avenue for the average entrepreneur to be able to hit financial home run." And when you walk in the hallways of our company, Opulence Global, you quickly see that Ramin and his company and our company are now not new into the fast accolades and winning awards. And Ramin started winning his first award at the age of 16, early as age of 16, when he won the championship in the sport of wrestling. Over the past 12 years, Ramin's company has been the most decorated company in direct sales industry, and scores of media and trade accolades on award-winning includes front cover features and the American Business Journal with Warren Buffett, Luxury Designer of the Year, award by FIFA International First Class inductee into the Network Marketing Hall of Fame, Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year nominee, and dozens more. It's not something new to you all. We all know the nomination that happened back in August for our CEO and the company. Today, Ramin is recognized as Canada's foremost direct selling guru and one of the industry most successful and respected master trainers. Ramin is also recognized as the world's foremost expert in MLM compensation plan, as well as voted into the top 2 network marketers on all times by businessforhome.org. Ramin's success comes from his own views on how to build a direct sales empire. And Ramin's life philosophy is always is life does not sustain. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And we have to digest that one phrase, always remind ourselves that. And that's the culture, that's evidence of Ramin's life and business. There's a lot to say about Ramin. If we try to do that, we'll be going to be whole night. So I will give it back to Ramin. Ramin, take it over and give us all the amazing stuff you have for us tonight.
Thank you very much. I think two things we got to update the bio because it's 30 years plus now. I think that's from like 3 years ago. Second thing is for this call, we'll just shorten it. so in any event, thank you for that. I want to congratulate you for being our hero tonight and being our hostess for the night. You know, I want to talk about forensic tonight, but I think something happened this morning was even more important and exciting. So I thought, you know what, we're gonna change the topic tonight because this is huge. This is just absolutely huge. Before, I was known for Forensic Networker, and that's become 84 companies are using it. I was known to be a compliant guy. I was always known for compliance. Now, would number one the world for compliant, and so I'm a compliant guy. I'm a numbers guy. You know, written plans for 4 different companies before I did my own. And so today, what happened was, I found out that one of our own distributors, partners, and she's done the next level. And we're going to talk about that tonight. And we're going to talk about, and that triggered something else in the comp plan. And I want also, tonight we're going to talk about comp plans, so you guys can understand our compensation plan. So I'm excited. I'm happy. I mean, just jazzed. A couple of days ago, I got a rumor that we have a new LD4 in our company. And of course, Rez has an LD4. Renee's an LD4. And we had 2 more before they've retired. So then today, I got my commission because I'm not at work, so I couldn't verify that. So basically, today I got my commission list, and I noticed someone is now capping at $10,000 a week. $10,000 a week, but that's the hallmark of LD4, because that goes from 5,000 a week to 10,000 a week. That's no other than our own Ephra. I want to say congratulations to this young lady. Wow. You know, we're going to talk a lot about that tonight because you know what? You can hear about big stories in MLM, but they're not this quick or this small of a team. So we're going to talk a lot about things like ED ratio, right? So things that you understand. We're going to talk about also the comp plan safetiness, capping, all those things, because at the end of the day, one question I get a lot is, Ramin, you pay to infinity, that means everybody gets paid to infinity? I say, yeah, well, how's that possible? The company's going to run out of money. I mean, that's a good question. So we're going to talk about that, what protects the compensation plan. So, you know, so you don't go pay 200% of what you bring in. Next thing you know, the company's out of business, right? Because when you get to infinity, that means there is no limitation. So let's talk about that a little bit, and then we'll get to, see, the thing with Ephra situations, like, you know, we've created lots of millionaires, we've got people who've done this in the past, but, you know, every time it's something new. With Ephra, she did it pretty quickly. And the key part about that is that her team is really small compared to, you know, comparable teams that you need in other MLM companies. So we're going to talk about something we're going to call the ED ratio. It's a stat that I've introduced to the industry about 15 years ago, about 20 years ago. Introduced it to DSA. And so there's a stat called ED ratio. Because in MLM, you talk about two stats all the time. You talk about, one of them is retention, you know, how many people you keep in the business. The retention, that's one of the stats. That's, you know, it's a vital stat. The second one is an activity ratio, distributor activity ratio. In other words, all those people buying products every month, who's active, right? So those are 2 things that you hear a lot in MLM. In 2008, when we were part of the DSA, I introduced a new one.
Ramin, I think
can you hear me okay?
your connection, I think, can and yeah, it was a little bit unstable, but now it's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We lost you.
So, all right. So if I break up, just let me know. Just to make sure if it's on my end or your end. Just want to make sure that it can everybody hear me. Okay. Okay. Vesa says we can hear me fine. Okay. So, where was I at? Oh yeah. So in 2008, we were part of DSA, and so I introduced a new stat that I say is more important than even retention. Well, just as important as retention and activity ratio, it's more important to that new person. It's called ED ratio. They said, what's that? It's earning per distributor ratio. Because at the end of the day, if you're brand new, that looking at an MLM business, doesn't matter what it is. I always say you don't want to go ahead and get impressed by somebody who's making, 40,000, 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month. It's impressive that they make that money, but what's more impressive is that you got to ask them a question, and that is how many people did it take for them to get there? Because the answer whether or not you're going to get there or not is not on how much your comp plan pays, it's how many people does it take. You see, so the other companies, every company has a top earner, and you ask them how many people you have in your team, they brag about it. I got 100,000, 200,000 people. They're bragging about it, Essentially what they told the average person, you can't do it. I mean, how many people can go build a 100,000 team of 100,000? You see, so that's what goes on in other companies. I'm going to share with you some stuff that the top guys in the industry don't want me to talk about. And they tell me, there's about 5, 6 of us at the top. For the past 30 years, we know who we are. They all know I'm the top comp plan guy. They're from other companies. I mean, can you tone it down? They tell me, can you tone it down? Not tell people these things. No, I'm going to tell people the truth. People have to understand, everything about the industry, and we are a fantastic industry. We go do what's called managing expectation. Let them know. So the stuff I've shared with you, this is advanced stuff. Let's see if you can find Renee and Reza, and you can maybe unmute them, and then, or at least promote them. So I'm going to have them chime in on what we're talking about. So anyways, I said what's important here is ED ratio, earning per distributor ratio. Basically, so I was with DSA at the time, so I asked DSA for 2 stats. I said, tell me, because those days you essentially got 2 types of businesses. You got the health and wellness businesses, and then you had telecom and businesses. So I said, what is the activity ratio of people who do health and wellness? Income per distributor ratio. They said, we don't know, we got to get it for you. So fine, get it for me. And they gave it to me. And then I said, what's the income per distributor ratio for the whole industry? For telecom companies, they gave that to me. So I created what's called ED ratio, earning per distributor ratio, something the industry never seen before. And essentially what it says is that if you want to make $10,000 a month, residual income, how many people do you need? How many people do you need to make $10,000 a month? And I want to get Ifra on the call tonight as well. If you have her, just on. So this is really important, and to put it all together for you. I said, well, if it's health and wellness, this is the DSA average, right? Direct Selling Association, that's worldwide, right? Every company. If it's health and wellness, it's up to $1 per distributor. Up to, doesn't mean it is $1. The best scenario is $1, could be 50 cents, right? Up to $1 per distributor. So what does that tell you? Best scenario, if you want to make $10,000 a month, you need 10,000 people. It's that simple, right? If it's $1 per distributor, that's 10,000 people. That's what you need. If it's telecom, it's up to 35 cents. They're a lot lower, up to 35 cents per distributor. So in other words, you make $10,000 a month, you need 30,000 people in your team buying, right? So that's the DSA stat. So I said, well, what's important here, if you look at a comp plan, because comp plans are very complex and designed that way on purpose, people don't understand it. They just don't get it. So I start telling people is that don't get excited. Here's a simple way of understanding how good the comp plan is. So don't get excited when somebody in your company makes 100,000 a month. Ask them how many people do you have in your team. You see, the reason why Rene Liao set a world record, still that record still exists. He made 107,000 in 1 month, 107,000 in 1 month, in 30 days. Well, it wasn't because of him making 107,000 in 1 month. It wasn't how many people he had in his team. In order for you to make $100,000 in 1 month, you need 100,000 people minimum to 200,000 people to get there. But Rene, when he got there, he only had 7,000 people. You see, 100,000, I don't know how many people can build a team like that. But I think people who apply themselves and learn the business and work hard, 7,000 is doable. 100,000? Maybe, but it's hard, right? It's hard. That's where the ED ratio is so important. You know, when Reza was making $74,000 a month, well, we look at, I mean, I think it took Reza, you know, again, I'll let them share their own stats, but we look at when Rene and Reza and Sherry, when these guys made their million, the first million, for example, they did not have a lot of people to get there. The latest example is Zephyr. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So let's talk about the compensation plan a little bit here. The comp plans, all compensation, there are 4 types of comp plans. There's the original one's the breakaway system. Some companies like Amway, they use that, right? Herbalife, New Skin, they use that system. Then you got the later one that came out was a matrix program. Companies like Melaleuca have that system. Not too many companies use that. Then after became the unit level system. A lot of companies use a unit level system. And then binary was the last one that came out, about 30 years ago, and became very popular right away because, you only have 2 legs, right? It's not like other types where you have many legs. So the key part about the first 3 types is that, every company, every type of plan has what's called a safety net. And what that means, because you get paid on other people, not getting paid just on your own effort, right? You're getting paid on a whole team. There's got to be a mechanism in the comp plan to stop it from paying it too much, because if it is too much, the company's out of money, right? Then it runs on the business. The first 3 ways how they do that is that they cut you off on how many levels you get paid. Now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to have PowerPoints made of what we're talking about tonight. Don't try to understand everything I'm telling you, but it's not that important. I'm just giving you some mechanics of it. And I'm going to get Danny to do a PowerPoint, and then maybe she'll teach it on Saturday where it's got 2 hours and she can talk about it. So the other 3 ways how they control their safety net is how many levels you get paid. For example, they say you get paid 10 levels, and that's it. You don't get paid after that. And 10 levels, each level pays 5%. So 50% payout, and anything happens over in level 11 and below that, you don't get paid on. That's how other plans do it. There's a cutoff on how many levels you get commissionable volume. Of course, there's some bonuses that go deeper than that, but that doesn't matter. We talk about the real money, there's a cutoff. So that's pretty easy to do. Aside from that, there is other restrictions they put in. So, and we're going to talk about what is the industry average pays out on the compensation plan. Binary has 2 types. Binary, one, again, has a cutoff level. But good binaries generally say they pay to infinity, right? So that's where it gets really, really complex. If you get paid to infinity, then what protects the company? Because if everybody gets paid to infinity, it's not like get cut off at the 10 levels or 15 or 20 levels. No, infinity could be hundreds of levels or thousands of levels, right? So there's other mechanisms that you have to go in the system to make sure the company doesn't pay more than they bring in. Otherwise, they go out of business, right? So that's, in our business, it's called the cap. We put a cap. Now, there's other things that other companies do that I'm going to quickly talk about, a couple of them, to protect the company and to make it more profitable for the company. One of the things you hear a lot is the word breakage, or flushing, right? You hear other companies that they flush volumes, and breakage is when you've qualified for everything, but you got more volume than you can qualify for, and then you lose that volume. So flushing and breakage are kind of similar. Well, we don't have any of those in our business, in the comp plans. It makes a huge difference. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So basically, if the company says they're paying 50%, flushing and breakage will actually bring it down to about 35%. So that those two, flushing and breakage, saves the company 15%. So the industry average payout right now, it's about 35% on the compensation plan. Well, in Opulence Global, y'all know that we pay out 70%, and we have no breakage, and we have no flushing. So we are probably, and I know we are the least profitable company on the planet, just based on our comp plan. We push out a lot back to the field, which is you. From day one, for me, it wasn't about, me getting a lifestyle. My life was good before I launched this company 15 years ago. I wanted to win. This is the game I wanted to win. Fastest growth in distributors and most rank advancement. I wanted to do what we just did a few weeks ago, which is being the fastest growing company on the planet because of rank advancements, right? So I wanted to win things like ED ratio, which we set the record years ago. No one's going to ever touch our ED ratio or earning per distributor ratio. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So with infinity plans, you have to put what's called a cap. So tonight I want to talk about that, because what happened today with IFRA, it brings us back in 2007, 2008, when our comp plan paid too much to a point that it actually capped the system. We had that in 2007 and 2008. I think we had it once again in 2013 and 14. We haven't had it since. Today, what just happened, it's not just IFRA, there's a few other people as well who are advancing. So we got to close to what's called a cap. So this is stuff that for you to know as part of the compensation plan, for you to know if we do hit cap, at least you know what just happened. Now, before we move forward, let's get Renee and Reza on. I have some specific questions to ask them, because before we move on to that next level there. And you've got Efra. So who do we got on right now?
Yeah, all three of them.
I'm here, Rami.
Okay.
I'm here too, Rami.
Let's talk about Reza. Reza, so we talked about the ED ratio of the industry, $1 per distributor. Generally, that means, if you make 10,000 a month, you have to need 10,000 people. I think your biggest was what, 70? What was your biggest check?
74,000.
74,000 in 1 month. So in the 74,000, how many people did you have in your team?
Well, mine would not be a good example, because the first 3.5 years I was not actively building. So I had a left team that was gone through the moon. But my personal...
That still doesn't apply. It's still the same. It all comes out of how many people you have and what's the CV. So it doesn't make a difference. We didn't talk timeline. We just want to know what is the ED ratio.
At the time, I believe I had about, I say probably about approaching 10,000.
I think your first million that you made, I remember we looked at that. I think you only have 4,000 people when you made your first million.
That was the first 27 months. That's right.
Yeah. So 27 months, $1 million. And so when you take a look at that, 4,000 people and $1 million, if you take the ED ratio of that, that's like, $50. No, it's like $25 per person. This is ridiculous. So remember, DSA average was $1 per person, up to. So Reza's was 11. Okay, put that aside. Let's go to Renee for a minute. Now, Renee, you had your biggest check was well over 100. So how many people did you have in your team when you did it?
Hi, Rami. Good day to everyone. Yes, at that point in time, I had just around 7,000 partners in my business.
So you're talking your ED ratio of that month, your ED ratio would have been about $13 or $14 a head.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely well over, the 1 to 10 ratio. So it's just amazing how much a comp plan pays out.
Well, look, this is important because we got people on the call who are not. Very few people in the world understand comp plans, but I'm trying to break it down so simple that you understand. If the average is $1 per or less, up to $1, and all of a sudden we've had people who've done it 13 times that amount quicker, you don't need to be a mathematician to get that, right? So you
Oh,
know.
exactly.
So
And
Renee, you made your first million. I know you guys had many millions, but let's focus on the first one because people on the call, they care about the first million. After that, it doesn't really matter. So how long did it take you to do your first million?
it took me a total of 4 years to hit the million of total profit earnings. So it's, but again, for me, it was just remarkable to even get to 6 figures a month because, as a programmer, I was making about 80,000 a year. And so, to make 6 figures in a month is just mind blowing. And I did want to add as well that, I guess me being a computer science programmer initially, I did care about numbers a lot. And the concept that you taught of the EV ratio, it was so fascinating to me. And so when you taught me how to calculate it, I guess the simple way of putting it is, if you took company A and company B, had 100 people in each company, and the 100 people were each buying the same amount of product per month, how much would you get paid out in the end, right? And so I took it to, I guess because as my team was growing, so many people kept asking me, Renee, well, how do you compare this company and that company, this company, that company? And still to this date, on my website that I'm on RGWT, I actually did well over 100 comparisons now of different companies' comp plans to ours, and it's still there. It's alphabetically sorted from from the Amways down to the the Zealands or Vitas, and in all my 13 years of comparing comp plans, I still do it today to this date. There's not one company that can pay more in the ED ratio than ours. So thank you for being so generous for me, because you're definitely paying us more than any other company out there.
Well, there's two reasons why we can do that. One of them is we do have shareholders in our company like yourself, Renee, and Reza, but if there's one director, people trust me, they know, and I make those decisions, and and everyone's for the company. So in other companies, you have board of directors, you have to respond to everybody, and no decision can ever get done. So, and everybody wants dividends and bottom line. So that's why those decisions just don't get done in other companies. The second part that is my life was good before this company. So I didn't come into this business to get a lifestyle. I have no ambition to becoming world's richest man. So I don't care about that stuff. We're here to win, and how we win is to create 1,000 million. It's how we win, to me anyways, is how we set the new standard for success for MLM. So here's another thing that was interesting, because although Renee is in Reza's team, Reza wasn't active, as he was talking about earlier. He wasn't active. And Reza, what was Renee making before you actually got intrigued to look at building this?
Well, it was crazy. Sometimes coming with the knowledge of the industry and seeing a comp plan makes you not have that sense of urgency. I knew as long as I'm on my auto ship, on my IA shopping credit with the different names, nothing is lost. So there was no sense of urgency till I came to that convention. And here's Renee Liao, 20,000 a month, and on the stage part-time. There was Sherry Zhao, 13,200. She shows me in her purse 3 checks. She hasn't cashed yet. I'm like, what? I knew they're making money, but I'm like, that's it. I got to get to work. So yeah, it was just incredible. It's a comp plan that myself in the 30 years almost in the industry have never imagined. I mean, even within this compensation plan, one thing that I have noticed that we did not have at the beginning, which blows my mind. I don't know if I should bring it up in case you change your mind, but I remember I'd be cycling 28 times and I get paid, say, for 20, and 8 of it would flush, like would go. Now it sits there. Yeah, it sits there. Like, wow, are you kidding me? Like, this is something that if people understand, like, they'll know. Like, here I am cycling 28 times. I got paid only for 20, right? And the 8 times was gone. Now it sits there until I collect on it. This is something, Ramin, never change, please. Leave it alone. This is incredible. And what's happening right now with the capping that's coming up, it is honestly, I don't know how you've managed to keep it the way you've kept it. We have come close to it a couple of times, and it's been dealt with, and it's been put on the back burner. You know what I mean? It's been good, and now it's reaching that point. I'm sure You know, like I have no reservation towards it. So whatever it is that you're teaching is much needed for everyone to understand. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So, but it's a bad thing. But you know what? That's just great. So yeah, it's incredible what's happening.
Well, breakage and flushing is something every company has. Every company has, or none. It's just part of the comp plan. Every company has it. We don't have breakage. We used to have breakage in our old plan before Opulence. We had it as well. So Reza's talking about the difference between breakage and flushing. Flush is something you notice. You see it. You see it flush. Breakage is the same thing, but just don't see it because you got to qualify for X amount you check the rest of the volume. Because you couldn't qualify for it, you lose it, you don't even see it. So that's the only difference, breakage or flush. Every company has it. Our plan had that in the past, and we don't have it anymore. So what it does do, it creates a very steady income for you. It's very expensive for the company. Like I said earlier, the difference is 15%, roughly around 15%. So the companies that say we pay 50% on the comp plan, they got this beautiful comp plan, we pay 50%. But when you add in the flush part and the breakage part, most likely then about 35, 36%. That's how much it saves the company. We don't have that in this company. But that brings us to the cap because all the money is going out. We're going to hit cap soon. We're going to get to that in a minute. All right, we have Efra on. Is Efra on?
Oh, hi, Ramin. If I can just add one last quick thing before Ifra speaks, because I just want to say that I hope everyone on the call really takes this to heart, because the one thing the ED ratio does is it gives you clarity. It gives you a goal and a focus. I feel like in all my 13 years in this company and 20 years in the industry now, is that most people in MLM, they're basically flying blind. They're told by the top company, do this, make a lot of money, but they don't really know what they're aiming for. So they're kind of flying blindly. And what you've done, Ramin, is, and that's why I appreciate it so much, and I hope everyone understands how powerful this one concept of ED ratio is you're giving us actually a target, and it works perfectly with the Fresno Networkers. So all I just want to say, it's such a key topic you're talking about right now, and I hope everyone really takes it to heart. So thank you, Ramin.
No problem. No, it's important for you guys to have you guys because I can talk in theory. But then you guys bring the reality into it, right? The application, the reality. Like Reza, it took him 27 months to do his million. It took you how long, Renee, to do your first million?
Yeah, it was about 4 years. 4 years.
When you hit your 107, how many years in were you in?
That was, let's see, 2007 I started. That happened around 2015 or 16, I recall. So about 8 years. I think the thing about Reza, and it's actually remarkable, is that because he did get started and kept paying his monthly, IA or shopping credits that we call it now, he banked. I don't know how much he banked on one side. I mean, Reza, I think it was like in the 8 or 10 million. So when he got started, he had a nice, that's one of the beauties of your comp plan is there's no flushing of that volume. So.
So let's get Efra on. Efra, you're on, young lady.
Good evening, CEO Ramin. Good evening, everyone.
Wow, how does it feel? You open your back office and seeing that $10,000 in the last 7 days accumulated.
Just incredible, incredible, very, very humbling, very inspiring, very motivating. And I just can say thank God, right? Thank God. And of course, thank you to your vision and phenomenal amazing team that we have. So yeah, I'm just humbled.
I have a question for you. Based on what we're talking about, ED ratio. So forget about this 10,000 that you did today. Last month you did about $25,000 in income. So how many people do you have in your organization, entire organization?
I just went on my back office as soon as I saw you're going to talk about this. I have exactly 1,087 right now.
So 1,087. So basically, you are, wow, it's almost like $25 a head.
Exactly.
You're doing what you have at your resume average. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is insane. Okay, let me go back, make sure you understand what just happened, right? Direct Selling Association, DSA, that's the organization that overlooks all MLM companies worldwide, period, right? They're the organization for MLM, Direct Selling Association. Their average, all companies combined, is up to $1 per distributor in health and wellness, up to $1. EFRA, almost $25. That's 25 times. That means, simply what this means is this. In order for EFRA to have made $25,000 a month in any other company, she would have needed minimum of 25,000 people, or it's up to 50,000 people in her team. In any other company outside Opulence Global, EFRA would have needed 25,000 to 50,000 people to do the same income she did last month. We're not even talking about this month, because 1,087 is as of today. So most likely her ED ratio, because now she's making a lot more money, most likely her ED ratio is maybe $35 per head, maybe $40. Who knows what that is? But it's absolutely ridiculous. How so? Somebody would say, well, how could you be so different than anything else? It brings us to the two things. First of all, we pay 70% out, right? Plus, we don't have breakage. The reason why EFRA doubled from 5 to 10, because she rank advanced, because all that volume was sitting for EFRA. Any other company, all that volume would be flushed. It's called breakage. Breakage means you only qualify for the cash you qualify for. The rest is gone. That is part of every comp plan on the planet. But because we don't have that in our comp plan, I was a distributor at heart. I'm still a distributor at heart. I was a distributor. I'm a soldier like you. So I took this stuff I made the comp plan as distributor mindset. I didn't take that away from it. It cost me a fortune as an owner, obviously. Because had we had breakage in our comp plan, today, EFRA would have rank advanced to LD4, as she did, but her check wouldn't have changed at all, because there was no accumulation from previous weeks. You understand the difference? The reason why your check doubled from 5 to 10, and by the way, at 10, it's a cap, because she would be, I think I mentioned it before, she might be 30, 40 grand this week. You know, now the next LD4 cap is a 10. The good news is it doesn't get flushed, or there's no breakage. So the rest is waiting for EFRA to get to presidential. She gets to presidential, then it just jumps again. So I just wanted you to understand the difference of what we have. And the best way to demonstrate that is the ED ratio, earning per distributor ratio. Show me another distributor on the planet in MLM that's got 1,000 people and making $10,000 a week. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. All right, so it is paying a lot, and at the end of the day, commissions are based on sales because we don't flush anything. And when there was rank advancements like EFRA just did, we got, and this volume was created from the entire downline. Remember, it doesn't matter how many levels deep. Other comp plans have a breakage up to 10 levels deep. After that, you don't see that volume, right? Here we go to infinity. We paid 70%. Today was getting pretty close to that. Now, what happens was we hit 70%. We didn't hit it. We didn't, but we're very close to it, right? When we hit the comp plan, because we have to be careful. Since we pay to infinity, if everybody got paid to infinity, then you're gonna pay $200 for every $100 you bring in your business. So we don't have a cap on levels, but we have a cap on commission payout. So if we do hit the 70%, which we got close to today, then every time we power cycle, you get 400 plus bonuses, right? It's $460. That $460, once we hit the 70, the software has a safety net to not to go over 70% payout. How it does that, other companies that just don't give you the CD anymore. We don't do that. We want you to keep the CD. So what we do is that we reduce the cycle from 460 a month to whatever it is to keep it under 70%. It could be 450, it could be 440, it could be 410, whatever that is. So we keep the payout at 70% max because we need the other 30% to pay our operations, staff, manufacturing, make some profits and so forth. So we don't teach this stuff too much because I think the first time we capped was in 05, 06. We're growing really fast. And then I think we hit that again. Renee, Reza, what was it? We hit 12, 13, or 14. I think we capped. We hit cap.
Yes, it was about 14.
Yeah. So here we are, 2020. So if we hit cap, don't be shocked. If one day we have a cycle and it's not 400 in your back office and says 365, now you know what happened. You hit cap. It's a positive thing. That means a lot, 70% is being paid out. That means a lot of people are making money. And you're still getting paid on every volume, every point that's there. Other companies, they'll never hit cap because from day one, they cut you off. You never get to see a volume. From day one, they cut you off at certain levels. From day one, they don't pay you on the big leg. And maybe Renee, and you have a lot of experience. I mean, first guy I trained on comp plan was Renee. He became my my comp plan, best comp plan student, and he's become a master of his own. You know, Renee, one of the things going on these days, is, for example, even with binaries, now they don't even want to pay on the big leg at all. They call it pay leg now. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Hi, Ramin. You know, you gave me so excited. I guess I'm kind of weird that way. Like when you talk about the comp plan, I get really excited about it. Being like a numbers and programmer kind of guy by nature, but you know, it's just disturbing because every company you look at right now, like you're saying, and pretty much, you know, every new company that's coming out, most of them, I'd say, and you probably saw this too, they want to use binary because people are much smarter now. They're learning to realize I don't want to plan. Everyone's talking about this binary stuff, right? But again, they're really smart and they're really tricky because some companies will say, well, you know, because we say we pay 8.5% on both legs, right? But other companies would say, well, we actually pay 10% or 15%, even 20%, you know, in the binary. But then when you look very carefully, you realize it's 20% on the smaller leg, right?
Which could be 10% of your business.
Exactly, right? But what's really shocking though is if I use that same logic, and I could rephrase our comp plan as well. We pay 8.5% on the 1/3 leg and 8.5% on the 2/3 legs. And so, but by their theory, it's 8.5 times 3, which is like, you know, 23%, you know. And so, but the reality is, again, most companies,
that's not even important though,
because
when that's not even important though, because the minute they say only on the pay leg, that math doesn't even apply because you know yourself, 99.99% of people, their pay leg is nothing. So they could say they pay 100% on the pay leg. You know, it makes no difference. The numbers doesn't apply anymore. The minute you miss where the volume is, they could say they pay 300% on the pay leg. If the pay leg is a small leg, the numbers don't even apply anymore.
Oh, exactly. And you know what's the other aspect of binary is that that I see so often now in comp plans is they tell you it's a binary plan and they pay you on the smaller leg, but then the most you can earn per week, you know, per center is only about 1,000 or 1,500 per week.
Yeah.
Right. So if you want to make 20,000 a week,
after that breakage come in.
You get flush volume, you know, there's breakage, and then so to make 20 grand a week, like we can in Opulence, you have to go and build like 18 business centers, you know. So I remember when I went to Eric Worre's event in the States, and he had like a special 6-figure, 7-figure earner event, and I went there as a 7-figure earner, and I met a guy who was in USANA, not to mention names, but I asked the guy, you know, I know you have a weekly cap of, you know, 1,000, 1,200 a week. but he was making, you know, according to him, a lot of like big incomes weekly. So I asked him, well, how many business centers have you actually built? He had to go and build 23 different business centers.
Wow.
And that is just unrealistic. I was like, oh my God, that is impossible for the average person. So, you know, it's another, so again, I love our binary. If you really understand binaries, there's nothing in the world that can beat Opulence's binary complex. So thank you, Ramin.
Awesome. So basically what I wanted to talk to you about tonight, the reason why the cap doesn't come out because it's rare, but if we do hit cap, it could happen. I think in 2005, 6, Renee, maybe you remember, Reza, you remember, I think our cap went up to like 30%, right? It was a $300 cycle then, and we're down to about $200 for the cycle at the time, correct?
I think it was 2008.
Right.
No, it should have been 11. Yeah, but yeah, it was instead of a $300 cycle, it was down to even like 120, something like that. So it's been nice that. Oh, okay. Yeah, but we haven't had that ever since. So thank you.
Well, look, the point is this: obviously, at the end, it doesn't matter what it goes down to. The fact of the matter is, we pay out 70% out, while other companies pay out 35%. It's just that with other companies, you never got it since day one. So that's all it is. Here, we're giving it out, and then when it hits cap, the computer says, okay, we got to protect the company, and we don't go past 70%. At that point, what do? You either have to take away the volume, which we don't like to do because that's your volume. You can save it for next week and get paid on it again. And so what we do, we take that week's commission, we reduce it to whatever it is to make sure the 70 exists there. In any event, all in all, it was a fantastic week. The only thing you need to worry about, you know, I mean, not worry about, the only thing you need to know is that any other company, FRA would have needed 3 to 5 times more volume. Why? Because she could have lost 50%, 60%, or more of her volume because there's a level cutoff. So when you lose 50, 60% of your volume every single week because of level cutoff, so you need a huge team. That's why you need a huge team in other plans, because you don't touch much of the volume that's generated. It's absolutely ridiculous that this is even new for us. 1,087 people, and she's going to make 45,000 this month. It's just, you know, even if there is a cap, 10% cap, $40 off, whatever that is, it's just the most insane thing that's happened in MLM. So because we're getting closer to the cap, it's time that we start teaching this concept. So if we do hit a cap, now I know there was like a rank advancement on IFRA and a few other people, so that put a load on the cap. I don't think we're going to hit it for a while, but even if we do, I think it's time that we need to start teaching it so people understand. If one day your cycle is not 460 and your cycle is 410, you know what happened. We hit cap. And your back office shows it anyways. It shows exactly what happened. But at least now you know that what it is. And because again, like I said, every compensation plan has a safety net. Other companies, they just don't give you the volume, period. They cut you off at levels. That's not good because most of your check goes away whether there's a cap or not. I mean, you're losing every single week, whether they're close to their cap or not. With us, you get paid on every penny as we've paid the last 15 years. If we do hit a cap because there's no breakage, then you will only see it on that particular week. With that, I think what we're going to do is that focus on our victories. If you have any questions, you can ask me. We have Renee, we got Reza on, Efra is on. I think
your sound, Ramin, is a little bit muffled. You know.
Listen here. I think you should be absolutely clear now the difference between a free-flowing compensation plan like we have with no breakage. I think the ED ratio breaks it down for you that we're not just 10% better. Remember, the way Ifra is averaging right now, she's 25 times better. Doesn't matter if we cap or not. You know, the Razak had similar. Renee was, 14, 15 times. It's out. That means you're building your team right now. I can probably take people on this call right now, anyone who's getting a check, and we could take a look and see what is your ED ratio. Remember, the industry average is $1 up to $1 per, so it could be 50 cents, right? For the people who are making money. These are people who are actually making money, right? Could be 60 cents, could be 70 cents. I think we just took a look at EFRA this month. We'll probably be hitting $40 per head. That is mind-boggling. How it is. So that's is why we had to talk about the cap. All right. Any questions on this? You guys want to share in the comments? Efra, if you want to take a moment and just thank your team, you're welcome to do that. I love seeing people like you to come on board. Maybe share with us your story. You had a job, how you've improved your lifestyle, how you're, what are you doing? How has it changed your life? Maybe you want to hear a little bit about that.
Thank you so much, CEO Ramin. What I just wanted to add is the fact that, as you mentioned, you can take anybody that's making money and actually do this. There are people on my team right now who are also doing so much better, especially when they compare it with their previous company. So it's not just me, it's something that is happening to all of us, and it can happen for everyone.
Like Saada, is it Saada?
Yeah, Saada Hassan, she's LD3 right now at 25K as well.
Oh, that's incredible. But let's take a look at that. I mean, this is wonderful. It's one thing that the upline makes money, which is great because people can use that story. But what's even better is when your team making a fortune. So how big is Saada? Is Saada on the call?
I don't know if you can see it there, Rhoda, but her team.
I'm just going to check if she's on the call. I don't see Saada, but I think her team is almost around maybe 300. Last time when the group was called.
That's it?
Yeah.
No,
I think, or more than 300, I guess. Is it 4? I lost the count sometimes. I'm in the group, but I always, yeah.
It's okay. I know because she's on my left side, right? She's my first gen. So it's around 600, Ramin.
Oh, wow.
So 25K, 600. What is the ED ratio on that now? It's like $40. So you do 25,000, 4166. And the rest of the industries is the 66. The rest of the industry is a 0.66, and we're at 41. This is insane. Look, I hope this comp plan holds up for you guys. We'll have to hit cap for a while. If it does, it doesn't matter. We're so ahead. It doesn't make a difference. But this is a type of thing that the other industry icons, they don't want me to talk about. They were telling me right from other companies, I mean, don't share this because you know what? Their companies have this crappy stats, right? They have these crappy stats and they don't want anyone to know. So now everyone from every company can figure out what is AD ratio, right? What is the AD ratio? And they don't want people to know those mechanics of the comp plan. And I'm the comp plan, guys. I'm sharing with my team here. I'm not out there bragging, telling the rest of the world this. I don't want to make things tough for them. I don't really care. I don't want to go out, make things rough for the companies, but I want my people to know how absolutely bonkers is this compensation plan. So we can probably do that with other people too. But anyways, let's, Pastor, you know what, Efra, tell me, how does this business affect, first of all, how does it feeling? Does it feel like surreal? Like week after week, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 10,000. Like people always say, well, how do you spend all that money, right? Like, tell me, how does it feel? How's your husband feel? Tell me about that.
I haven't reached that point to create a family yet. Hopefully soon, but
Oh, sorry. I thought, go ahead. But
okay.
you'll be the most, desired bachelor in the planet right now. Smart, you're attractive, and now you're gonna be our next millionaire. How great is that? You're gonna get a bunch of messages tonight. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ramin. Honestly, it has changed a lot of things, And normally, when you reach success, for everybody different. For me now, my focus is my head. I need to stay level head, right? I need to stay humble. I need to continue to learn. So that is really my focus right now. I don't even look at my back office anymore. I'm just doing the work, pushing it, getting everybody excited. As you know, our team right now is the fastest growing team in our company right now. So I'm just focused on everybody's success. So I just want to take a moment to, first of all, thank you, Ramin, for your amazing vision, for putting this together for all of us. It is because of your vision that all of our dreams are being realized through. So I want to thank you for that. And honestly, you are God sent, without a doubt. I also want to take a moment to thank, of course, my amazing mentors. It's what an honor to have, to be on this with our two top millionaires. Reza, who has always been there for me, since day one, has always believed in me, has pushed me to the limit. Thank you, Reza. Of course, I want to thank Renee. I used to tell Steph when I started our company, I'm like, Steph, I think I'm addicted to Renee's videos. I was on YouTube every night watching what is Renee saying, writing it down. So honestly, I want to thank, and of course, the rest of our phenomenal upline, starting with Stephanie, my amazing sponsor, Sahar Saeed, Habo, thank you so much. And of course, the entire phenomenal team, all 1,087 partners around the world. About 85% of my team is none other than my community, which just makes my heart smile that much more, because I got into this industry to make a difference, starting with my community. So it's amazing. And of course, Rodo, who is just such a phenomenal star. Watch out for Roda. I cannot wait to celebrate you, Rich, here. And that's it. I want to say thank you, Ramin.
So, what are you doing? Let me know. One thing you said that hits me hard, because I've been there and I know how amazing it feels. One thing she said that most people missed because they're not there. And an average person who works as a job, they can't even comprehend what you just said. And that is, I don't even check my back office anymore. You know what that means? Look, obviously, initially we all need the money to pay our bills and pay the debt or whatever. But once you've done all of that, there's abundance of money in the bank accounts, you've bought your toys or whatever, then all of a sudden you don't have a need to even check to see what was my income this week. Because you know it's there and you don't need it. You know what it's called? Freedom. 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 Life might not be about the waterfront mansion and the Porsche in the driveway. You know what it's about? It's about being able to do it. She found freedom. Ifra found freedom. She doesn't have to check her income anymore. She doesn't need it. She's got money in the bank account, comfortable. She can pay for everything and whatever is in the, but whatever. She's got confidence in the system, confidence in the company, confidence in the product. She doesn't need the money. How many people in the world outside this company can say they don't check the bank account? They're not waiting for the next paycheck. They're not counting, they're not budgeting. It's not that many. It's not that many. How long have you been involved now, Ifra?
This coming April would be exactly, no, not this coming April. Yeah, I started officially April 7, 2018. So 2 years and 5 months.
2.5 months, 2.5 years. That's it. 2.5 years to freedom. It's worth it. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And you know what? And you think that's fast? Looks like there are people in there for us team doing it even quicker.
100%. I have people who have been on our team for 8 months doing 10K a month.
This reminds me of Nigeria. When we first hit Nigeria, it was the same thing. People hitting out like 10,000 a month within the first year. Listen, you guys are rocking it, and the important part here is not the money you're making. The important part is the path you're paving for the next generation. Because a new person joins us, launches with us tonight or tomorrow, last week or week after, they look at these stories and say, okay, there's my path. Somebody did it within 2.5 years, freedom in 2.5 years. People doing it in a year, freedom in a year. For everybody, freedom something different. You know, if Rod's going to hit 40 plus this month, I mean, I don't know how many people in this country even close to that, but he's done it. She's done it here. You know, and it's a tremendous amount of money. But I can tell you, and if you told Renee and Reza, you know, hey, 40, I mean, they're I know it's good money, but they would not exchange their checks. So my point is that there's freedom for different people, right? When you've seen 100, right, then you want to go up to the next level, and this company allows you to do that. Efra is doing it faster than Renee did it faster than Reza, right? Efra's, I mean, Sherry and Tammy, they also made their million and they retired. We have Efra is doing it faster than Renee. It looks like to me she's just rocking it, right? And it looks like there are people in Efra's team who are going to do it faster than she did. What does that tell you? That this company is better today than it's ever been. Our products are better, our comp plan is better, our systems are better. And the pandemic is a great supercharger for us, isn't it? The pandemic is a great turbocharger system for us. And we're only the best company in the world because we are prepared and we are completely set up for today's world. The pandemic, no, they have a new name. It's not pandemic anymore. No, it's a twindemic. Twindemic because it's coming back. Oh no, because it's flu and COVID. Now it's twindemic. All these fancy names. We are set up for today's world. There are companies that are going to struggle. They weren't ready. We were ready. Systems were ready. Products are ready. Comp plan, training, everything. We're ready. We are the company for today. See, Apple became the most valuable company on the planet because 30 years ago, they hit the spot where they were the company that people wanted to join. They had the product that people wanted to have. Microsoft became the biggest before that because they were the company that had the best software. They were not the first one, but they had the best software at that time that something people wanted to have. We are now the company for this time. Product and the business plan that people must have and want to have and need to have. And if anyone who's new needed any proof tonight, was their proof? ED ratio. We've owned those stats in the world for the last 15 years, and we're not slowing down. If anything, we're blowing it up. There was a time I used to brag about our ED ratio is 8-to-1, 8 times higher than the DSC average. Tonight, we're sitting at 41. 41. Like, how do you go and make 10,000 plus with 600 people? I don't know how you do that, but they're doing it. Because I write the comp plan, but nobody can understand the power of a comp plan, not even me, because the 2 becomes 4, 8, 16, becomes thousands of branches. And you don't know who's going to do what or buy what, or there's so many ways of generating CV and income. I can tell you this stretches my imagination, what's the power of this comp plan. If it stretches my imagination, it stretches Reza's imagination, it stretches Renee's imagination, probably thinking, damn, there is a lot more here that we can tap into. And hopefully paves the path for everybody else on the call. So with that, I'll pass the call. I don't know, Renee, Reza, whoever else wants to chat, put your hand up. You want to share something with us? If you want to share with me your EV ratio or whatever it is, you just want to congratulate Efra, let's leave the rest of the call for that.
Wow, 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 wow. Incredible, incredible. The feeling is incredible to know that Reza Mesgarlu has people in his team that are breaking records, making massive money, and he doesn't even know most of them. This is incredible. One thing I want to talk, the only thing I want to talk about is this. Maybe it comes from 30 years of experience, maybe because I've been there, done that, is you got to have a long-term vision. Like you said, Apple example. That is the greatest example because they had some bad, they took them a long time to be where they are today. And it's not any more true, like any less true for us because that's what it is. You got to have your long-term vision. When we were introduced to this industry, we were told work it 3 to 5 years, hard, Now, I'm not saying everybody should compete with anybody, but you got to have that vision. You got to have a plan of action and you got to apply it daily. Like you said, Ramin, we were ready. We were part of e-commerce online from get-go, right from the start. And this pandemic made us even better, knowing that we can only, like for time, whatever time it's been, to do our business online. And I'm telling you, wow, it's I would have never imagined what's going on. And everyone who's on this call need to understand plan of action, daily plan of action, stay focused, give yourself a target date and make sure you meet those targets. Don't leave it to Beaver because our last slide on our presentation says timing. And I know how many times in the past we thought it was the best timing, but I tell you, after 15 years, this is the best timing to join this company and to absolutely run with it and shatter every records. Thank you, Ramin. Thank you, everyone. Back to you.
Thanks, Rez. Anyone else wants to share? Just put your hand up. If not, we can shut down anytime.
Okay, I think everybody is excited and everybody is just sitting there like so amazed. And I have to say this, Ramin, when I first joined this company, I felt that it was meant to be the company that I was making that financial freedom, that I will gain that financial freedom I needed. And it became the way I pictured it sometimes, or it became beyond my expectations. Sometimes you expect something, but what happens is more. So that's what happened to me because I was in another company and our comp plan was never what we have here. So I want to say thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. You have completed this comp plan put together for your 30 years of experience and you make it happen for all of us. And as you said, you're not focusing you to become rich, you're focusing us. And that's something, it's priceless, I can say. It's something that other companies don't have. So I want to say thank you so much, Ramin, for putting all this together. And thank you everyone on this call. Thank you, Renee and Reza and Efra for sharing all the great experience and comments with us. So with that, I will say, thank God, God bless you and have a great evening.
Good night, everyone. Stay forensic.
Stay forensic.